Hey, hey. All right.
There we are.
There we are. Hey, everybody.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you this evening?
I'm wonderful. I'm wonderful. Hey,
Great.
everybody. Hey, it's 7 o'clock, and it's Stacey B, your host of the new Empowered Woman Show. We are live, live, live. The new Empowered Woman Show, where I feature women who are living out of the box lives, who are wanting to do what they want to do. Stop living life, as we're going to talk about tonight, out of the mundane and out of the normal. So I just want to jump right into it and say and ask you a question: Are you tired of living a mundane life? Is something in your belly calling you to greater, or is fear stopping you? What are you waiting for? All right, so we're about to get out of the normal and get disruptive with my guest tonight, Miss Coach Shaun D. She is here to discuss disruptive behavior, and we're going to jump right in it right after this quick intro. Stay right there. Hey, 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 we're back. We're back. Welcome to the show again. Now, before we get started, I want to let you know to please like and please share the broadcast. Also, remember to give StreamYard permission to use your name, your picture, so we can see your comments. We've got folks jumping on in already. Hey, Jackie, how are you this evening? All right. Hey, Twyla, thank you for joining us. All right. Okay. See, they're excited. They're excited. So before we jump in, Miss Shaun, I want to do your introduction for this dynamic guest that I have here tonight. Chandra Deneen, is that correct?
That is correct. You said it
All right.
correctly.
Okay. Chandra Deneen is setting a new standard in affirming, informing, and inspiring women. Her commitment to effectively elevating women to live an empowered life is transforming women all over the world. Chandra specializes in mentoring and coaching individuals to take charge of their lives, become poised and powerful on purpose, and overcome the obstacle of fear. She empowers women all over the world to live by the mantra, do it afraid. This life changing principle is simple in concept, but one of the most impactful and powerful messages you will ever receive. It has been labeled by many as mind shifting and life changing experience. Chandra has coached over 10,000 individuals to success throughout her 15-year career. She's been recognized nationally for her energizing and electrifying motivational speaking style, recently receiving the Speaker Rising Star of the Year award. Chandra is the host of the Do It Afraid podcast, co author of Pray, Pursue, Persist Testimonies of Women Who Soar Through the Power of Prayer, and the CEO and founder of Ruby Global Coaching and Consulting LLC. Woo! Chandra resides Cha- Chandra resides in Dallas, Texas, and is the proud mother of two amazing sons. When Chandra is not working, she enjoys spending time with her family and friends. Chandra, welcome to New.
Woo! Thank you for having me. Can you just travel with me and read that bio? Because you did an amazing job. I'm like, who is that woman?
All right, okay. I would love to, okay?
Thanks for having me this evening. Good evening, everyone.
Oh, wow. You are so welcome. I'm so excited. And so I first saw you on another show,
Mhm.
and your energy was just amazing. And I'm like, I'm just going to have to get connected with this lady somehow and have to have you on this show because this is exactly what New Empowered Woman is about. You embody who I envision, as a new empowered woman, and because you empower others to do the same,
Yes, and
right?
the word empowered is so it's such a powerful word, not to, play on words, but when you empower someone, that means that you have given them information, resources, tools that helps them move to another place in life. And that's what we need as women, when we come together, is to help each other move forward. So yeah, when we talked and you told me about your show, I was like, that is right. That is perfect alignment with the vision and goals and missions of my platform. So I'm very honored to be here tonight. Thank you.
You are so welcome. So let's talk about this. Let's jump in. I'm hearing a little echo. Let's jump right in. What is disruptive behavior? Now, I've got a whole bunch of questions, but what is this disruptive behavior? Because when we hear disruptive, we're like, oh God, we're tearing stuff down. But no,
Yes.
the contrary. What is it? What is it?
So yes, quite the contrary. And when this idea or this topic dropped into my mind, the first thing I thought was, I can't call it disruptive because that's going to give a negative connotation, to Black women, and we get enough of that we don't need, something else negative. But as I begin to prepare material and do some reading, disruptive simply means that we need to break the cadence of something that's normal, to form a new habit. So it's not disruptive in a bad way, but it's disruptive in a powerful way. Whenever disruptive energy impacts any flow, there's a kink, or there's a change, or there's something that shifts everything in a different direction. So that's what disruptive behavior is about. It's about, breaking down the normal cadence of life so that you can get the results that you want to get in your life.
Absolutely. And some of us have difficulty changing that cadence because we are so stuck in that, and that's
Yeah.
all we know. And it's like, and as your bio said, breaking out of the fear, we're afraid to break out of it. And so, but there's so much more for us to
Yes.
experience and what we're called to do, especially in this season that we've got a lot of time to develop new things and birth
Yes.
new things, right?
Yes. Right.
So you empower women to take charge, become powerful on purpose, and to do it afraid, as your bio said. But before we unpack all of that,
Yeah.
let's talk about us as women. Like, how do we get stuck, coach? How do we get stuck? Like in our past, we have shame, we have guilt.
Hmm.
How do we get stuck with that? What happens?
Some of the things that you just named, a lot of times with women, we get so caught up in the routine of life. We get caught. We're a mom, we're a wife, we're a daughter, we're a significant other, we're a girlfriend, we're an employee. We're all of these things that put us into a rut in some cases, and that is what causes us to kind of just wake up and go through life. We don't challenge the norm. We
Mm-hmm.
agree with the norm. We agree with the saying, well, this is just the way it's supposed to be because this is the way it's always been. No, that is not the way it has to be if you want something different. So that's how we get stuck in that normal, or in that routine, or in that root, that groove, or where we can't break out of that.
Mm-hmm. And you're right. We are so, we're timid about um, uh, pushing,
Yes,
beyond, or, we don't want to ruffle any feathers. Like you said, we already get a bad rap, but
yeah,
hey, we're powerful women, and there's always a way to do that,
it is.
the right way to do that. So, why now, and this may be redundant, let me know, but why do we need to engage in disruptive behavior? Because, like you said, we've got to push past that, break the cadence, push past the norm. But is there anything else that, comes with that disruptive behavior, and why we need to do that?
Yeah, more importantly, right now at this point in time, it is so important for women to step up to the plate. It is so important for us to assume our roles and assume our place in history, assume our roles in the world. And we are, building legacy for our children. We're an example to our daughters, the girls that are coming up behind us, to the people that, will stand on our shoulders. So it's important that they see. I'll speak for my nieces. I don't have girls. I have two sons, but I have the most adorable nieces. And I think about them all the time, is that I want them to say, Amy didn't stand for, this, or Amy always pushed past that, or she was always looking for the solution. She was not the person that brought the problems. There are things that I want my life to represent for my nieces, so that they are very powerful women. So it's important for us to break the normalcy. And again, for some people, normal is fine, and that's all you want. That's all they desire to have, and that's cool, and that's fine. But there are a group of women out there that want better, that want different for their lives. So those are the people that we're talking to and about when we talk about disruptive behavior, that they're breaking that cycle of normalcy to move forward and be an example to the next generation of leaders.
And that is so funny. Well, it's so funny that you mentioned these two key words that I, I tend to focus on in my platform. You said something about break out of the cycle. And then you
Mm-hmm.
said you want to influence generation.
Mm-hmm.
And my whole thing is the generational,
Yeah. Yeah.
strongholds. And so do you think um, sometimes that we may get stuck in these things because we've seen people before us not want much, and
Yeah.
so we just like, okay, why
Yeah.
should never went for more? Like you said, you want to be an example to your nieces, so it could be generational as well.
It can be. And I talk about that a lot with Girl Get Your Circle Right. And I talk about proximity and having the right people around you, having the right people in your space, because sometimes we don't have an example. We don't have an example within our home, or maybe we don't have an example that's really close to us in our family line that we can reach out and touch for example. But there are so many other mentors. The virtual space right now, you can almost have anybody as your mentor. Find a YouTube video, follow what they do. There's someone out there that you can pattern or emulate your life after. And I posted about this earlier this week, is that even though we bring our true authentic selves to our platforms, it's okay to have someone that you emulate, or someone that you follow, or someone that you admire, and then pace your life after them. So some of it is cultural, some of it is that you just don't have the example. But when there is a desire and a passion for more, when there is just that annoying, when you have that feeling of something just needs to shift, something just needs to give, I gotta break out of what I'm seeing everyone else do. If you're that person that has that little nut, that little funny feeling in their stomach, that life has to be, there has to be more to life than this. That is the person that is ready to break free of cultural barriers, that is ready to break free of the normalcy of life. That's where that person will, they will dig, and they will find whatever this resource is that will help them break out of that. Most definitely.
Oh my gosh, that was so good, because you're right. When you're ready,
Yeah.
you'll be ready to find it. And everyone, this is just not between Sean D and myself. I want you to chime in if this sounds like you and you are ready to break out, and there's just something that is in your belly that has to break out, and you're just tired of the normalcy. Chime in. We want to hear from you.
Yes.
You want to ask questions, or make a comment, please do. This is what we do here on the New Empowered Woman Show.
Love
So
it.
that is awesome. And yes, I saw that post, and I thought that was so beautiful. Like, when you said it's okay to find someone that you
Yeah.
admire that's doing, you don't have to copy them. You put your
Yeah.
own flavor
Yes.
on it. And I love that post that I just saw that today.
So
Awesome.
here's the other side of that, Stacey,
Hmm.
is that every one of us has a uniqueness that is us. It's like our fingerprint. You have a unique fingerprint. No one else has my fingerprint. So even though Gloria Mayfield Banks was the person that I was talking about in that post, I just absolutely love her energy. I think she is just absolutely a beautiful woman. And when I look at her, I think I want to bring that same energy to my platforms, that same beauty and grace and poise and power that she brings across, when you watch her videos or you're in her presence. And the thing with that is, although that's the person I'm emulating, there is a unique audience out there that is just for me. there is an audience that they aren't tuned into Miss Gloria's voice. Their ears have been tuned to hear the words that I have to say and the message that I put out there. So it's not that we're copying others, but you got to understand that there is someone out there that your story will impact, and only your story will impact. And that's why it's so important too to move with passion and purpose, because your story is someone else's rescue. Your story is going to help someone else break out of their normal cadence of life and push forward in their purpose. So most definitely it's okay to have someone that you emulate, but know that your gift, your talents, and your abilities that you bring to the world only belong to you, and there's someone out there just for you to impact.
Yeah, and that's true. And again, this we know it
Yeah.
in our knower, as they
Yes.
say. And however, it's that fear that keeps us from jumping out there. And but when we take that leap, we will find that someone is out there waiting for us.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
So, Shaun, you seem to know a little bit about this subject. So, what's your story? How did you get here to the point of this disruptive behavior or this disruption? What was your disruption?
Yeah. Let's see. Um, I often say that my whole life has been a point of move forward, stop, adjust, move forward, stop, adjust, move forward, disrupt. You know, uh, course correct, go in a different direction. And at this point, being in the pandemic, and I'll share this here on your platform, hadn't shared it with anyone else yet, but my norm was disrupted. I was the vice president of a very successful for-profit trade school group, and absolutely loved my job. You mentioned in my bio, for 15 years, I've been coaching in a higher education arena in workforce development. So, over my span of 15 years, over 10,000 students that I've impacted and that I've coached to success. So, when I say my dream job and doing the things that I love to do, it was that point where work was not work for me. It was really a play. I enjoyed what I did, and I enjoyed the people that I did it with. Well, when COVID-19 came around, it severely impacted the business model for profit schools. And I was laid off. I lost my job back in April. And when I started to think about, how am I going to come out of this bigger, better, and brighter? How am I going to come out of this better than I was when I started? And that is where the disruptive behavior came in. Because first of all, I had to identify what I was willing to risk to be better in my future. And
Mhm.
that's one of the questions that you have to ask yourself. What are you willing to risk to be better moving forward? What are you willing to do to participate in your own rescue? Because at the time
Mhm.
that I was laid off, I, went into this really tailspin of, first of all, I took it very personal. Second of
Mhm.
all, I challenged the decision because I had this, who me? Do you not know who I am and what I do? What do you mean I'm being laid off from my job? So I went through all of those different emotions, and I realized really quickly that I was the only person that could make that situation either better, or that I was going to sit in the pool of what happens after that. So not engaging with other people, isolating myself, getting in a rut, just a really bad place. So that's kind of where disruptive behavior came from, is because I had to disrupt that norm. My norm was disrupted by an uncontrollable situation. Now I have to work to control what I can control. And the only thing that I could control, or that I can control, is my behavior, my surroundings, and my habits. So, that question I ask myself: what are you willing to commit to in order to participate in your own rescue? And that's where disruptive behavior came from. And if I am really honest with myself before knowing what to call it, at every junction where I had to make a decision, you have to count up the cost of what am I willing to sacrifice to move to this next level. Even when I took the jump, I can go all the way back to 2014 or 2013 rather, where I felt there was that inkling feeling in my belly that there has to be more. There's more to life than what I'm doing. Although I loved my family, my marriage. I've been married at that time for almost 20 years. My kids were, had some form of independence and were doing their own things. Very, very successful, to amazing young men. But I got to a point where, okay, there has to be more to life than what I'm doing for me, and had to make some decisions to disrupt a norm. I'm going to branch off into some different things. I'm going to look for different areas and different resources to grow myself professionally, to grow myself spiritually, to grow myself emotionally. And there were some hard decisions to make along the way. So when you're thinking about disruptive behavior, we have to start counting up the cost. What is my dream worth? What am I willing to sacrifice to move to that next level? How am I going to disrupt this normal pattern in my actions, in my words, in my, what I'm doing every day? So, that question still rings very loudly in my head, even at night when I'm asleep. What are you willing to commit to participate in your own rescue? And when we get to that point to where we are committed to rescue ourselves from ourselves, that's when you are powerful and you're able to move forward. So that's kind of how we came to this point.
Wow, that's a powerful story because, a lot of us may be in that situation now in this
Yeah.
season, And let me acknowledge our friends on the personal Facebook page. Hi, Audra. Thank you for joining us. She's saying so true, so true. We can't see your comment on this side, but I'm watching on this side too.
Hey, hey, guys. Hey, hey. Thanks for joining.
Yeah. And so when you said, it's so funny because when you were saying when you got the layoff and you were
Mhm.
like, hold on, you sure you have the
Yeah,
right person?
exactly.
And this is like kind of where I feel like I am, right
Mm,
now. I'm not laid off, but I've been searching and searching. And I told you I'm in HR. So
yeah,
I have put out so many
yeah,
resumes and had
yeah.
phone screens after the phone screen. And I'm like, hold on. I have never not always got the job. Hold on.
Hello.
What's this about?
Exactly. Exactly.
Never, never not, and so, and I've had accountability partner, Audra. And so, she was like, maybe this is saying something to
Yes,
you.
yes, yes,
Maybe you're
yes,
not supposed to go back to that, or and
yes.
so I'm starting to really, and it's scary for me, but
Oh,
I'm
it's very, very scary. I'm right there with you, Stacey, because I'm the same thing. I'm, filling out applications. I was like, I have never ever in my career, and I'm not knocking that part of the process, but it's been on a referral basis. Someone hears of something and thinks, oh, this is great for Chandra, let me call her. And, it goes from there. But never have I opened a, career builder or Indeed and went through job postings. So even in that, I'm like, this is not the way this is supposed to work for me in my life. And that is one of the things too that we have to recognize when the normal cadence is being disrupted, and not fight to go back to what seems to be normal and comfortable. Sometimes that disruption comes to shift our thinking when we can't shift our thinking for ourselves,
mm,
if that makes sense.
yes, Lord.
Sometimes we have to be disrupted. The disruption comes not of our own doing, but the disruption comes from an outside force into us because we cannot break the normalcy to disrupt ourselves. Ooh, we cannot, because had the layoff not come, I never would have left my job. Never. When I took the job, I took it on a 2-year basis. And I told my family, I relocated from Houston to Dallas. And I told my boys, give me 2 years to get this level of experience. And then I'll come back to Houston and I'll float that in the Houston market and I'll find a job here and I'll be back close to home and we'll go forward with life as we once knew it. That 2 years turned to 6 years. It turned to 6 years. So I would have never left that position had someone not disrupted that for me. Now, here's the other side of that. I didn't take it as a positive disruption at first, but it was the strangest thing, Stacey. As I was sharing with a few of my close friends and family what had happened, they got excited. And I'm like, why are you excited? And they're like, this is just what you needed to launch out and do your thing and grow your business and develop your brand. And, they were going on and I'm like, no, hold up. This is not, I wanted to have a pity party. I wanted to cry. I wanted to, I wanted people to feel sorry for me. And they weren't. They were happy and they were excited and they were like, okay, so what are we doing next? What's your next big move? And I even had people that called me that wanted to invest in my business, to help me move my platform forward. So sometimes the disruption comes because we can't disrupt ourselves. We are so comfortable being comfortable. We're comfortable being comfortable. When if we would just take a just a little bit of a shift in a different direction, there's bigger and better and greater things, but we just got to be okay with not being comfortable. This is the first time in my whole life since I was 16 years old that I have not had a job. Like, what the heck? I've always worked and I prided myself in always working, and always if I left one job, it was an upward move. It
Hmm.
was never a backwards movement. So I always prided myself in that I work hard and I earn, where I am, and I earned the position and I did the work to get there. So, as I said, come April 3rd, someone in a 2-minute phone call disrupted my comfort, my comfort zone, my place of comfort. And it quickly made me think, what do I do next? And sometimes the disruption comes from an outside. It's just how we are going to choose to frame it and how we're going to choose to move forward in it. Oh, that was good.
Oh, all of that, all that. Just so good. And it is just like you hit you hit it right there when you said, hey Brianna, thank you for joining. When you said, when we get the disruption, we didn't look at it as, oh, this is a blessing, this is my
Yeah,
blessing.
yeah,
Like, you know, I'm happy, but it's always the ones outside of us who are
yes,
like, girl, this is your season, this is your time, it's your
yes,
moment. Seize
yes,
the moment. We
yes.
don't see it because let me tell you, I had a nice attitude because I'm like, how dare you?
Exactly.
You're gonna cut my hours and what now? Do you understand what I need and blah blah blah?
Yeah,
And my
yeah.
accountability partner is on this ear, like, listen, listen,
Hmm.
what God is trying to say, where He's
Yeah,
trying to push
yeah,
you to.
yeah.
So this is so good, Chandra. Now we have a comment from Jacqueline Shaw. She says, I ran a successful insurance agency for 17 years. Now she finds herself working a 9 to 5 in the industry. Now she's being drained. God
Mm,
has me laying on my back again to get my attention. He released me before and I got entangled again. And she says she has great skills, which is absolutely correct. And
yeah,
so then she says she's disrupted now.
yeah,
She's
yeah.
disruptive. Hey, Simone, how are you, honey?
Hello.
Thanks for
Yeah,
joining us.
and it's so funny that sometimes we're believers here, and I can speak from this side. I always say my PK comes out. My dad's a pastor, and it just, that's all I know. So it slips out from time to time. But sometimes God places us too in positions where, as Jacqueline said, He has to get our attention. He has to get our attention to say, hey, I've told you, I've shown you, and as women, we ask all the time, what's my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? What is my purpose? And we're shown a lot of times our purpose through, what's going on around us, paying attention to what brings us great joy, what feeds our passions. But we will keep asking that same question of, what is my purpose? What is my purpose? What am I supposed to be doing? And I tell you what, this is something that my dad tells me, that God is not obligated to repeat Himself. When He tells you the first time, you need to pay attention to it, because He's told you. Now the next time that He has to tell you, it might not come in such an easy way to receive it. So pay attention to what that still quiet voice is telling you. Pay attention to what is going on around you. Pay attention to the people and the things that they're telling you, the people that are outside of you and what they're saying to you. My best girlfriend told me, she said, I wish you could see yourself the way that other people see you. You would not be worried about what you're going to do next. I'm trying to tell you. Those were her words to me. I wish you could see yourself the way that other people see you, because if you did, you would not be worried about what you're going to do next. That woke me up. That woke me up. And my prayer began to be, God, help me see myself the way that others see me. Help me to see the impact that I make on others so that I will get my life in alignment with what you're wanting me to do and what you're pushing me to do. This disruptive, my norm being disrupted has given me an opportunity to prepare to soar. And here's the thing with soaring. Oh my gosh. Here's the thing with that. When you are ready and you are ready, when you will sit in the situation and take it all in for what it is, everything you need presents itself. God draws everything to you that you need in order to break the norm and not break your spirit, not break yourself, not break the bank, not break relationships. He sends everything you need so that you can move forward with power and on purpose. Ooh, we.
Oh, 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 I'm like, I'm forgetting I'm on an interview right now because I'm, I'm, I'm being ministered to. Hold on for a second. I have to get these. I gotta get these comments through. Oh Lord. Um, Jacqueline Shaw says, now this is so deep. Jacqueline says she is having tearless cries.
Ooh.
Ugh.
Ah. See, let me tell you what a tearless cry is. And again, I go to my Bible days. There's a scripture that says that God hears even the words that we don't speak, the moans, the groans. So those tearless cries is where we lean into Him and we lean into gratitude and we lean into the goodness that He's promised us in our lives. Okay, I will stop. Yes, yes,
Ooh,
yes,
oh, honey, you go as far as you need to go.
yes.
Audra said, yes, yes. Oh, she
Yes,
says that was
yes,
good, and she said
yeah,
that's
yeah,
the prayer to
yeah,
pray. And she
yeah,
said she is preparing to soar. And
yes,
she said you are teaching up in here.
yes. In order to soar, you have, again, I go back to what are you willing to sacrifice to participate in your own rescue? What are you committing to? What are you committing to? Because you cannot soar holding on to all the baggage that is in the normal cadence of life. A lot of times we can't break the normal cadences because we want to hold on to everything else. I say all the time, if you want to, if you want to, how do I say it? It's a Tony Robbins quote that says, if you want the island, you have to burn the boat. And I talk about that a lot when it comes to personal commitment. So, in order for you to soar and get out of the rut of the norm to disrupt your behaviors, you're going to have to commit to some things. And some of that commitment is going to require you to drop some weight. You cannot soar carrying everything with you. If you want the island, you have to get out of, you have to burn the boat so that there is no comfort zone for you to step back into. Because what we will do is when things get challenging and when things get hard, we want to get back into that normal cadence that we were in, because that's what we know how to do. We know how to do that. But one thing about disrupting the norm is that you're going to have that do it afraid mentality, that I'm going to leap, I'm going to take the jump because I know I might not know how it's going to look as I'm jumping, but I know that on the way down, I'll figure it out. On
Ooh.
the way down, I will figure it out. So, as you're preparing to soar, what are you willing to commit to participate in your own rescue? That's right, Audrey. You must burn the boat. Here's the visual analogy that I use with that. And let's just say, you're standing on one side of the island, and you look across the water and you see another island. I say it's raining skittles, it's butterflies, unicorns, and rainbows. Like, that is the place that I want to go. You get in your boat and you get over there, and the day that you arrive, there's a thunderstorm. There's no skittles, There's no unicorns. There are no butterflies. It looks horrible. The first thing you want to do is turn around and look back from whence you came and say, oh, it's not raining over there. I'm going to go back over there. So you can get back in the boat and go back to whence you came. That is where you have to burn the boat. No, we're going to commit to whatever we're doing, whatever we need to do right now on this island, because this is what I am committed. This new cadence of life is what I'm committing to. Oh my gosh.
Mm.
Commit to the new cadence of life and remove the things that are holding you bondage, that are holding you. I always say, I've been saying in this disruptive behavior, if you're asking yourself, how do I know if there's a norm that needs to be disrupted? If you're annoyed, if you're restless, if you're tired, if you're sick, if your body is in dis-ease. Your body disease, if you break that word up, is dis-ease. It is you are not in a comfortable position. So if you're annoyed, you're tired, your body is in dis-ease. If you are just floating through life on a wing and a prayer, is that I have no plan for this day. I'm gonna wake up and just whatever happens to me today is what happens to me today. You're the person that your norm needs to be disrupted, because there's too much to be done in life for you to not get out of or challenge yourself to go to the other island. If you want the island, burn the boat. Disrupt the normal cadence of your life so that you can have better. And when you have better, it sets you up to bless someone else. Okay, I'm supposed to be answering questions and not. Go ahead, Stacey. What's the next question?
I don't even know.
I said I was going to behave tonight.
Woo! My God.
I said, Chandra, we gonna put our, we gonna act like we have some home training and be good on Stacey's call tonight. But when I start talking about this, I just,
Passion, passion.
it is because there's so much to be done. And there's so much to be impacted in women. My mom says this all the time, and I love men. I love them. So don't, y'all don't, I don't bash men. I'm not, woman, woman, woman. But however, what woman was God's idea. And anything that was God's idea is great. You were born to give life. My mom tells me that all the time. Women are made to birth things. Women are life-giving. The reason that we don't do what we're created to do is because we get so stuck in a routine and a pattern. And that can come from a lot of things, from abuse. I was molested when I was a teenager. I was a teenage mom. Right after being a teenage mom, got married really, really, really young. So I can, if I chose to fall into the rut of normalcy, I can think of a lot of statistics that say if you're a teenage mother at 15, your trajectory of life means that you are going to continue to have children out of wedlock and be a single mom, and depending on, government assistance and all of the negatives that come along with that. So everybody has a decision to make to get out of the norm, because the norm for me would have been that. Now, had I followed that norm at that time, I don't think I would be where I am today. Had I followed that norm. So even unconsciously, not even knowing what I was doing at 15, 16 years old, where I said, this will not be the sum total of my life. This will not be the sum total of my life. That statement shifts the norm. So just understanding that we have so much to give. We can't afford to allow ourselves to sit in a comfortable space. And everybody's disruption looks different. My disruption might not be your disruption, Stacey, but we all have a story, and our story will impact someone else. Mm.
Wow, Lord have mercy. Well, before we get to the second half of the revival,
We're going to pass the plate in a minute. We're going to
we're
pass
gonna
the plate.
play in the minuet. Hold on one second. I would like to just we're gonna hit one announcement while we're in the middle before we
Yeah.
go to part two. Well, folks, what are you doing on August the 19th? What are you doing on August the 19th? Well, hopefully you're going to attend the Strongholds, How to Spot Strongholds and Cycles webinar. Hopefully, you're going to attend that and you're going to understand what it is to be stuck in a cycle, be stuck in a stronghold. But
Mhm.
hopefully, you can join us on Wednesday, August 19th at 7 p.m. If you would like to join us, I will have the information in the chat or in the show notes later. But just wanted to let you know my upcoming webinar. If you missed the last one, let me just tell you, you missed a treat. Okay. So I'm giving you another opportunity to jump on board. Okay. So hopefully it's next Wednesday, 7 p.m. Sign up, and we're going to have a good time talking about cycles and strongholds. All
Oh,
right.
that's good.
All right. Back to the
That's
to the
good.
service. Back to the service. All right. Woo!
Oh
Now,
goodness.
oh my goodness. Thank you so much, Audra. Oh my goodness, Audra is like, Amen, Amen, Amen. Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Audra. Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, Chandra, if I can back up,
Yes, yes, yes. Let me
you
let me
may you may
let me
have
be good. Be good.
now you may have already unpacked what we wanted to say because this was just so rich. Okay, seriously. So what does this uh, what does this fear look like when we don't want to jump out and when we don't want to disrupt life?
The biggest way to recognize it is paralyzing. Fear paralyzes you in one place. It doesn't allow you to move forward, doesn't allow you to move to the left, to the right. It holds you in one place. So whenever we talk about fear, whenever you're getting ready to do something, or whenever, if it's business, anytime you're embarking upon something that you haven't done before, there can be a degree or a level of fear associated with that, be it in a relationship. I've never done this before. I've never had a successful relationship. What's going to make this one, any different? I'm working on some stuff with that one. That's going to be some good ooh wee. We'll have to come back and talk about that. But
Okay.
breaking the cycle of the past in your relationships. When you are looking for, maybe it's a career, maybe it's whatever it is, it's business. When I stepped into entrepreneurship a few years ago, I thought, who in the world is going to buy a ticket to come hear me talk? And I fed myself that negative chatter so much until I actually believed it. And I remember my first event when I planned it, I'm like, I'm believing for 10 people. If 10 people show up, I think I've been successful. And I talked myself out of those 10 people. I'm like, no, nobody's going to buy a ticket to come hear me. Nobody's going to show up to my event. So that fear of failure, and some people are fearful of being successful. I've even seen that in some clients where what you're doing will be successful, but because it hasn't been done before in your family, in your friends, in your circle, you dim your light and you back off of what you are supposed to be doing, what you will be successful at. That's the fear that holds you. It paralyzes you. It keeps you from moving forward. So I say all the time, the best thing to do is to get courage in one hand, confidence in the other, and move forward anyway, because nothing has been done until you do it.
Okay. Be silent. Say la.
Say la. When you are getting ready to, let's say, driving was challenging for me. I had a standard, had never done it before, was scared to drive a stick, didn't want to drive a stick, fearful of. But until I did it, it hadn't been done. I hadn't conquered that. But when I conquered it, it built a level of confidence, and it built a level of courage and a level of boldness that I could take those tangibles and move them into the next challenge. And that's what Do It Afraid is about, is that when you are fearful of a thing, moving forward anyway, because the thing that you haven't done has never been done until you do it. And then once you do it, you take, you learn the lesson from it, the confidence, the courage, the boldness, and you ultimately will become fearless. Fearless is my absolutely favorite word in the whole world. You will ultimately become fearless, and you will take that courage into everything that you do. I am 4'11". In my mind, I am 6'4". There is nothing that you can tell me at 4'11" that I think I cannot do. Because I
Oh,
love you're 4'11".
yes, I am.
I knew I loved you, Stacy. But you know, there's some things that I've conquered and figured out that built courage and confidence. So, you know, call it short people syndrome or whatever. In my mind, I'm 6'4" and I can reach anything that you can reach, anything that I want to do. But that's the whole concept behind fear and how we can move beyond that.
Okay, that's so good because also I noticed something else that I just want you to hit. Hey, Valerie Thompson, thank you for joining us. She says, absolutely, absolutely, tell the truth. Oh my gosh. So hit this for me. I saw this on your Facebook page
Okay.
or Instagram. Now you talked about within your platform what you speak about. How does trauma play a part in that?
Ooh.
Because you had an infomatic with some different types of trauma, and the paralyzing part was on there as well. So can you hit that for us briefly?
Yeah, trauma is deep, and trauma sits with us in ways that and impacts us in ways that sometimes we're not aware of. It triggers different emotions. It triggers different feelings. As a culture, we are not very keen on therapy, and that's kind of where that trauma post came from. Is that we have to embrace resources and tools that's going to help repair or give us coping skills with our past. Trauma will keep you from moving forward in lots of areas of your life, and sometimes it's unconscious trauma. I had some trauma that happened to me in my life as I was a very young person between the age of 7 and 13 that did not manifest until I was 26 years old. At 26 years old, that trauma manifested in a way that I didn't know what was going on, and you know I hadn't dealt with it. It had been suppressed. I had kind of I'm real good at compartmentalizing things, and it had been put in a bucket that was way back in the corner that we weren't going to deal with. But on that particular day, I don't know if it was a smell, a phrase. I really still to this day don't know what triggered the trauma and brought it back to my conscious mind. But bringing it back to my conscious mind sent ripples in my entire family. That's why we have to deal with trauma at the root of what it is and deal with the cause, the root effect of it, and be aware of it and take care of our mental health. Women, we need to take care of our mental health. Your mental wellness is just as important as your mammogram. It's just as important as your annual pap smear. It's just as important as your 3-month checkup to get your blood pressure medicine or whatever you're going to the doctor for. It's just as important as that. So trauma sits in our brain. I have a really good friend. Her name is Nikki Shepard. And she has a business called Inception that deals with brain trauma. And one of the things that I learned from her is that your brain, when trauma hits your brain and the way your brain is wired and programmed, there's a interruption that happens that stops, and you're not able to develop and mature beyond that point. So when we see people sometimes acting out from a place that doesn't seem right, so emotionally unstable in relationships, if we pull back the layers of that and really sat down and talked to them and understood why is it that you are emotionally unstable in this area, you can generally trace that back to some type of trauma, and what they are manifesting in their lives is where their brain stopped. And as a culture, we have to get on the other side of that, dealing with the secrets, the stuff we don't talk about. You know, don't tell anybody. We're going to keep this in the house. What happens in our family stays in our family. And those type of directives from individuals in authority and in power really does cripple your life moving forward. So trauma has to be dealt with at the root of it, at the root of whatever, wherever it stems from. So at 26, I had to go way back to ages 7 to 13 and deal with the trauma of that point of my life. because not knowingly it was impacting relationships. It was impacting my sexual health, my sexual well-being, my mental space, my relationship, my marriage. It impacted all of that. So trauma is huge, huge. And what we don't fix, we repeat. We see it show up. You talked about strongholds and generation. I believe in generational curses and strongholds, that if you don't deal with it and you don't talk about it, it's going to show up somewhere down the line. So you see your kid doing some things that, why are they doing that? Because it's something in your life that you hadn't dealt with. So it shows up down the line in another generation, in another limb of the family. So we gotta be healthy. So we owe it to our kids and our legacy to be healthy and to be whole and to be wise and to be of good sound mind, so that our we can give that to our children. That goes with being the best version of who you are. I'm not at my best when I'm hiding the traumatic stories and situations of my life, when I'm not dealing with it, when I'm not dealing with the trauma of life, when I'm just ignoring it and covering it up and, put lipstick on a pig, it's still a pig. The trauma is still there.
Wow. This is
So we
amazing.
have to deal with it.
This is so amazing. And Audra saying that she needs to connect with you. Um, I'm going to. She said we must address the root. I'm going to
Yes,
read. I'm going to read some of these other comments. And while I do that, Chandra, check your private chat for me for a second.
yes, ma'am.
And if you want to do that, please let me know. We had a request. I didn't want to put it up yet.
Oh, I don't mind at all. I don't mind at
Okay.
all.
All right. Hey, Patrice, thank you for joining us. Now, Valerie says we must deal with the root, mind, body, soul, and spirit. Yes. Hashtag facts. Patrice says, hey, this is so true. Therapy is necessary to be your best self. Valerie is saying some families are used to the dysfunction, the familiar
Oh,
girl. And then she just said this familiar spirit. Now, that's a something now that, come on now.
look, we familiar. This is we get comfortable in dysfunction. We normalize dysfunction. We normalize dysfunction. Oh goodness, I'm gonna stop because we can.
See, we could go on all night. See, Valerie, you starting up stuff. See, she said, yes, it shows up in generation and generations until someone stops the cycle. Lord have
Yes.
mercy. Audra, I don't want to hear nothing you have to say after this show to me. Okay. I'm on it. Okay. We must own our truth and dismantle the lies and deal with the truth.
Oh,
Wow. Woo,
and truth
I
is
got
so powerful. Truth is so powerful. I go back to my good girlfriend, and she tells me all the time, when you will deal in truth, you give the other person an opportunity to make decisions from a point from a point of truth. Truth
mhm.
is truth. It's not right. It's not wrong. It just is.
Wow.
Truth is not right. It's not wrong. It just is. And we try to make it right or wrong. And when we try to assign right or wrong to truth, it's where we get all mixed up. And then it becomes rooted in your opinion when it's just your opinion. There's no factual basis to that. Instead of just taking it, embracing it, truth, it's not right. It's not wrong. It just is.
Wow. Ooh, this is so amazing. And I'm like, who is going to come after Shaun E? You
I
trying to
love
cut
this.
me down.
Stacey, I could do this all night long. Like this is what when I talk about eat, sleep, breathe. This,
I can tell.
it's my passion to, it's not just words to empower. When women leave my presence, and I think we should all strive for this, is that when another woman leaves your presence, they leave better than they came.
Hmm.
They leave better than they were when before they entered into the room with you. So my goal and my prayer is always to be able to provide information that is going to empower another woman to move forward in her life.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to get this up here um, because someone asked about this, and you guys know I'm feeling a little, nervous about this because I never do this, but I thank you. Thank
And don't
you.
do anything that you don't feel good about.
No, not you,
Okay,
not you. I'm
okay,
just
okay.
saying when the request came, I was like,
I got
oh, okay. I'm like, I'm like, I never do. Okay.
you.
So I will do that here. Make sure I have it correct. Okay. All right. For the person who asked us to do that, I put that in the chat for you. Do you want me to put it on the screen? I can.
Yeah,
See,
I'm
look.
fine with it. I
Okay,
will
there it
say
is. Oh, there it is.
I will say this. One of the things and this will help. This will even help you, Stacy. One of the things that as vessels, and that is what we are, is that we sow into everyone else's life all the time. One of the things, again, as a culture, that we have to get comfortable doing is investing in ourselves. Invest in yourself so that this same platform energy, everything that's going here, it's a universal law of sowing and reaping. There is a universal law of when I invest in others, that thing that I am investing in or what I see in them that I'm investing in will happen for me or can happen for me if I position myself in the right place to do so. So it's never I tell people all the time, it's never you giving anything, it is you investing in your future so that you can manifest the things that you want into your life.
Okay,
So thank you,
gotcha.
whoever asked that question.
Yes, thank you so much. And Jackie, I'm going to correct something. I hope you didn't do anything yet because I don't even know my own information. Don't, hold on.
This has been great, Stacey. Thank you for
This
for the
has been,
opportunity I know we got way off of the questions and I even have
no,
notes here and I'm like so way off of my notes of what I was gonna say tonight, but hopefully there's been something that has, again, helped someone on this call move from one point to the next. If it does nothing more than lights a fire, sparks a flame, help now you can start thinking about, what norm do I need to disrupt in my life?
girl, I'm just saying, this was just incredibly rich in that everything. It was like you hate to stop because if we weren't supposed to stay on with the questions. It was supposed to go just the way it did. I mean, it has just been amazing. Let me see. Do I have anything else? I mean, because you just, child, this was so good. And indeed, we have to do something else. We have to get together again.
Oh, no
Uh,
problem, no problem. Let me know.
Something else. Audra said, yes, indeed. Jacqueline said, you can say it. Can you say it? My vision is.
Oh, can you say it? My Cash App is $Shaun D. Will,
Oh, oh, okay.
ShaundWill. It's $Shaun ShaundWill.
Oh, okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you. And
Thank
Jackie, um, the other one is Sweet Tooth. I'm sorry, $Sweet Tooth, the number two. Sweet Tooth, the number two.
Audra said, "You better know your Cash App after tonight." Yes, ma'am. Never block another person's opportunity to grow. And whenever you are the visionary of a platform, God gives you a vision to help other people, and it is to be shared. And so you don't want to ever block another person's opportunity to sow into you, so that they can manifest things into their life. So I'm with Audra.
Amen.
No.
Amen. Amen. Praise God for that. Oh my goodness. Woo, I had to like cool down. Oh, I'm definitely going back to watch this whole broadcast again, because, as I said, this was just so rich. Now, I mean, what else is there to say, Shaun? How have you seen this do it afraid mentality transform you and others? How have you seen it come
I
to
will
fruition?
I hear women, they inbox me, they call me, and they tell me all the time, um, your do it afraid mantra helped me overcome a fear of raises at jobs, being fearful of not asking for what you're worth, dealing with hard situations in relationships, having tough conversations, growing their entrepreneurial platform. For me personally, Do It Afraid started with me back in 2013. And I knew in 2013, and I hit on it just a little bit earlier, that I needed to make some significant changes in my life. And in order to make these changes, the only thing I had to fall back on was me. It hadn't been done before in my family. There were, not a lot of examples of some of the rooms and arenas that I was now entering as my career expanded. It provided new opportunities. I stepped into rooms that, I just sometimes would step in and think, how in the world did I end up here? That is just, God's goodness and his grace and his favor that follows me everywhere that I go. And he, prepares me ahead of time for those rooms that I didn't even know that I was going to step into. But I found myself in rooms and at tables with people and conversations with people that no one was there to tell me what to say or how to do or how to move through those rooms. And at the threshold of every door, fear met me. You're not good enough. You don't have the credentials to be here. You the little brown girl. Everybody else in the room looks different than you. You're the youngest. You're the only. You're from a rural country town. You are not of the city. I mean, you don't have this. You don't have that. Every time at the threshold of the door, those thoughts met me. So the only thing I could do in order to move forward was to bring fear along with me. I have the word fearless tattooed on my foot for a reason, because God promised me that every room that I put, everywhere my foot steps, I will be successful. And in order for me to walk in those rooms, I had to do it afraid. And along the way, I became fearless. So now I carry a courage with me that will allow me to stand on any stage. I enter any room. When I get to the threshold of that room, I can now say, we've done this before. I've been in rooms bigger than this. Let's go get it. Let's go do it. So the Do It Afraid has really moved my life forward. It really removed it. It gave me a different way to handle fear. Instead of allowing fear to paralyze me, fear now becomes a platform of courage and confidence. Be bold, be brave, be fearless, do it afraid. That's my mantra. You'll always hear me say that, because those are the words that has taken me from one room to the next room. And those are the words that will take me to the next rooms that I am to step into, and the next platforms and the next places. Because if he did it for me once, he'll do it for me again. Because never,
Mhm.
ever has he left me with doubt. Never, ever has he left me abandoned. Never, ever has he left me ashamed. Never, ever has he left me in a position where I am moving backwards. That is what Do It Afraid and Fearless does for me. I
Wow. Y'all, you could tell when she feel it, y'all. She get the ay.
gotta do better, Stacey. I gotta do better. I gotta do better.
Girl, you gotta do just what you doing. You understand me? Just what you are doing. Understand me? Oh my gosh, I gotta make sure there's no more questions. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Oh, Valerie says God always properly positions us.
Always.
You both will bless so many people. Oh, thank you. Thank
Oh,
you so much.
thank
God bless you. Bless you. She said, faith over fear. Yes. Say
yes,
that, Shaun. Say it.
yes,
I love it. God is great. I am so that, I am so that mean we can. I am so that means we can. Yes. She said, preach. Yes, she is preaching, right? Yes, indeed. She said, speak the truth. Valerie says, speak the truth. Manifestation is the word of the season.
yes, yes,
God has called us to use our gifts and talents to
yes.
share with the world. Oh, Lord, we got more comments over here. Hold on. Let me go back. All right. Audra's just giving you kudos, hand claps, hearts. Fear is a platform of courage, right? That was good. That was good. And my mother, mommy, we got to get your picture up here, Miss Ann. She She said, "Good, glorious, amen." That's right.
Hey,
That's
Miss Ann. Hey, Miss Ann.
yes. Audra's just giving you more kudos. Awesome, wonderful. And so this "Do It Afraid" is now your podcast. Yes. Talk
Yes.
to us about that so we
So
can subscribe.
please do subscribe, subscribe, subscribe on whatever your streaming platform is. My podcast is called Do It Afraid with Chandra Deneen. It is where we celebrate fearless living. It is where we talk about ways to overcome fear and how to, position ourselves for success. Right now, I'm on this kick of the comeback, and this is when COVID hit back in March. It was how my first thought was, how do I help move people forward? Let's not focus on the mess that we're in. Let's focus on the comeback. How do we come back from this? Because eventually we're going to get on the other side of it. At the time that I started that series, The Comeback, I felt, that I was some type of Sherpa. I was kind of leading the movement for everyone, and not knowing that a month after I would now become a part of the movement. So I've been in this. The next podcast, it should publish this week. Actually, it's called "Oh, and then if I wouldn't have said it, I wouldn't have forgot." A different perspective, a new perspective, because the comeback is coming. We're just now fighting in it together. So how do you prepare for your comeback? So that is the series that we're in right now. But again, it is the Do It Afraid podcast with Chandra Deneen. You can find it on all streaming platforms. And please subscribe. I have a goal of getting to 1,000 subscriptions. So please share, 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 subscribe to the podcast.
Okay, everybody, you heard that on Facebook. You heard that on here on the New Empowered Woman. Please, on all streaming platforms, we will be doing that once we are done with this episode of New Empowered Woman. Jackie says, "Thank you, ladies. Oh, my goodness, this has been so good. Thank you all so
Yes.
much for joining us again. This is just, oh my, all I can say is just rich. It's just been a rich experience tonight. And don't forget we've got to connect you with Audra because she has a ministry of trauma.
Oh, Audra, we need to talk. Guys,
Yeah.
follow me on social media. My
Oh
personal
yeah. Here we go.
Facebook
Yep.
page is Chandra Deneen, and my business and personal just kind of bleed over. If you follow me on my personal page, you might get a picture of shoes, or that's my thing there.
Okay.
That's
So what about that? What
that's
about that? So what's
it's
the other one?
Facebook and Instagram. I'm Life Coach Shaun D. So you can follow me there. I'm on Twitter. I am Coach Shaun D1, and then on Facebook, my personal Facebook page is Chandra Deneen. But like I said, my personal Facebook and business, just I got to do better, but they kind of bleed into each other.
Right. Okay. So I want to make sure I have everything correct for you. So the Facebook and IG right now is Life Coach Sean D. But you said your regular Facebook, you don't mind them coming over
I
there?
don't mind at all. No, it's Chandra,
Okay.
Shaundra Deneen, Dineen. I do not mind at all.
Chandra D-I-N-E. Chandra Deneen.
Yes. This has been great.
This has been awesome. I mean, what else can we say? And who else? Somebody else made a comment. Let's see. Where are we? Uh, okay. God is with. Oh, hold on. How did I miss? Okay. Holy Spirit is with us. Holy Spirit led. Oh, this is great, Shonda. I want to make sure you hear everything people have to say.
Well,
All
thank
right.
you.
Valerie says she will subscribe.
Thank
Uh,
you, Valerie.
all right. Awesome. This is great. All right. Make sure I have everybody before I let you go.
And Stacy,
Uh,
I'll come back at any time. You always have my yes. So whenever you want
oh,
me, just let me know.
thank you. Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
And Audra says she will subscribe. Well, ladies and ladies, this has been a wonderful New Empowered Woman show this evening. I just am almost just out of words because the content was just so rich. We had our times of laughter, but Coach D, she ministered to us on this disruption. That
Mm,
life, this disruption does not always come the way we want it, from where we think it's going to come from. It's not always pleasant, but it is a blessing and it is necessary
yes.
for us to disrupt the norm, disrupt the normal cadence
Yes.
of our lives, just to get to the other side. Less, get to the island and burn the boat.
Yes.
Let's get to the island and burn the boat.
Yes.
Okay? Because it's greater on that island. Oh my
Yes.
gosh, we got to
Yes.
come off of the fear. Woo! Oh my God. So is there anything else you can say? What else before I let you go?
You know, as I always end every podcast, encourage everyone to be bold, to be brave, be courageous, be fearless, and whatever you do, do it afraid. Until every ear hears, I will always speak. Thank you so much, Stacey, for the opportunity tonight.
Oh my goodness. Until every ear hears. Come on now. We need to put that in the Bible. I know it said don't add. I know it said don't add, don't take out.
Yes, that
I
is that
love
is
it.
that is the truth till every
I,
ear hears.
I love it. Well, ladies and ladies, thank you. This has been another dynamic, awesome, wonderful, powerful, enlightening, empowering episode of the new Empowered Woman Show. And until next time, I will see you. Remember, New Empowered Woman, where the new is all about you. I'll see you next time.